Let's talk about paper quality. Um, Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with different papers. So, something that I have been coming across from different artists is that it doesn't really matter what paint you use as much as it matters what paper that you use. And before I get into that, if you are new, my name is Julia. I'm a multimedia artist. I love creating with watercolor. And so that will be the nature of what I'm talking about today. So, right here, what you see in front of you is something I'm creating right now. And the reason why she is in front of you is because I want to talk about just getting over the idea that your cheap paper is the only paper that you can practice with. So, when I first started practicing or even working with watercolor, I actually used this paper. And I bought this paper only because it said watercolor. I didn't really know what type of paper you needed for watercolor. I didn't really know anything about it. So, I remember the first time that I created something, it turned out pretty well, and initially I thought it was because of my aptitude to be able to just paint. But what I later learned on, and that's from using this watercolor paper and also just like hearing different artists on YouTube talk about it, paper really is everything, and I can really say that. So, yesterday I was going to paint this idea on in my sketchbook, and the sketchbook I'm currently using is this watercolor aquarelle sketchbook. And don't get me wrong, like, it's not a bad sketchbook. I've created some pretty things on it, but there are some things that I feel are just lacking. And unless you would know this, you wouldn't know why you should like buy the watercolor paper that's just a little bit more expensive. So, um, the first thing is that this type of watercolor paper that's cheaper, it tends to buckle easier. So, if you look on the side of this, you can see that this paper is just a little bit, it's like crinkly and bent. And the reason is because, number one, this is a thinner paper. And number two, it doesn't have as many like ridges on it. So I don't think it absorbs paper as compared to something like this. Like, if you look at this paper, you can see, let me bring my light over, you can see like the texture of the paper. I can't take this out because it's glued in a book, but the paper is a little bit thicker. And I believe this one is also 100% cotton. So, yeah. As I was painting this, I'm so glad that I did not choose to use cheaper paper, because the painting is already starting off in a much better direction than it would if I would have used the cheaper paper. So, that's just basically what I want to say on that. Like, don't be afraid to practice on more expensive paper, because it really shows you like where you are. At least that's what it's done for me. It's shown me like what I need to work on, based on the paper that I am using. So, yeah. I am now going to begin painting this woman. I got this idea of a woman, just sipping coffee. I think I already have a name for this. I think I'm gonna call this me time. And so basically, I have been using these praying watercolors. I got these for no more than $10. Yesterday, to do her skin tone, I mixed red, yellow, and brown. As you can see, I've been using this yellow so much. Like, soon I'm gonna have to replace the yellow. And then for the hair, I've been using this black noir because it's really dark, and I find that the praying, for whatever reason, it has like a weird tint to it. It's like, it's black, but it's like green. So those are the two palettes that I'm going to be using. I think I'm gonna start off today going back over the hair, just because I'm a little nervous to go over the skin. Like, I tried something new with the skin where, number one, I blended the colors, and number two, or I custom blended the colors. I didn't just use brown straight out of the paint pot. And so I'm liking how it's turning out. You know, you can see like these little hints of yellow. Her cheeks are a little bit rosy. And so I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to warm up by adding another layer to the to the black hair. So I am going to do that now. And what I will be using is my paint pen. And it has a little bit of water. It will need some soon, but I just cannot wait to dive in and paint. So I'm just gonna get right into it. And let me activate my paint. I've been loving this Kuretake Gambi paint. Like, again, I've been using this yellow so much, but the colors are just so beautiful and vibrant, and I don't have to mix them. I also read somewhere that these paints are not really meant to be mixed, so I just use them as they are. All right, so let's paint her hair. The very interesting thing about watercolor is that it's done in layers, and I find that to be very helpful for my patience levels, because by nature I am not a patient person. I like to do something and see the results of my effort immediately, and with watercolor it's really not like that. Like, you just have to work. You have to work, and you have to work on the painting, and it's not overnight. And I mean, you can make paintings quickly, but I just find it to be a very good thing for me to do to help me develop a sense of patience. So yeah, right now I'm just painting another layer of black hair. I was gonna do brown at first, and maybe something I'll play around with in the future is like mixing brown and black. So yes, this is my first live. I said I wanted to do more lives on YouTube. I didn't want to just always do those overly produced, not even overly produced. I just don't always want to, you don't always have to. I will say this, to be consistent requires there to be some type of compromise. Like, some people are really good at putting out high quality content every single day, and I love that. But I also feel like, for me, high quality content doesn't always mean like the shiniest and brightest of new technology. Sometimes it's just like showing up consistently. So that's what I am working on, and I'm feeling good about it. Like, I feel really confident within myself the more that I show up, because it's not easy. But like, getting over that, oh, it's just not easy mindset is how I'm able to just see the inklings of progress I made today. Which, speaking of progress, today when I was doing my tarot pulls, let me know if you're watching this, if you're into tarot. I love tarot. I try to pull every day. It gives me something to journal about. But today I usually pull in this is how I pull. So I pull a card for my subconscious mind, and I pull a card for my unconscious mind. And subconscious. I pull a card for my subconscious, and I pull a card for my conscious mind. And then I pull a card that, based on those two cards, what is the best course of action? So today, I'm going to even show you. I have it right here. Today I pulled the 10 of cards, and this talks about satisfaction. Is it the 10? No, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, this is the 9 of Cups. And what I know from the 9 of Cups is that it's a card about inner satisfaction. However, there's just one more thing, or there's just like maybe something that's just not quite there. Like that, in order for you to be completely filled and satisfied, you want to achieve and obtain it. And it's not to say like the things that you have are not what you want, but it's just like, this is the unconscious card, basically saying that, yes, I am satisfied in different areas of my life. However, there is still so much more to go, and I'm ready to experience that. And then my best course of action today is basically just to continue watering my plants, watering the fruits of my labor, and I will see that. So yeah, basically saying and sharing that to say, like, I'm pretty satisfied with where I am in life, but I don't want to get comfortable. I want to go to the furthest extent of what I can achieve in this life, because I feel like, I mean, that's the whole goal of life. The goal of life is to see how far you can evolve. And I'm here to evolve, baby. I'm here to evolve. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to stop chatting and I'm just going to paint. So if you are still here, thank you. And if you're watching this on the replay, let me know where you're watching from. And I will just start painting. I'm still working on layering and not making anything look like, and this is why I was saying, like, I don't want to practice on cheaper paper, because once that paint dries on that cheaper paper, or once you overly paint something, it's a done deal for that paper. And I just find the more expensive paper is able to absorb more paint. So that's why I do like to practice on more expensive paper, even though it's kind of a risk, because it's like, okay, I could potentially waste my money, but also it's like, nothing is really a waste if you're just practicing, because it's valuable information that you need to know. So yes, if you are watching in the chat, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know who you are. I'm just here painting this woman drinking coffee or tea. I haven't decided what it is yet. I think for today's live, since it's my first time, I'm just gonna paint the hair with you guys. And later on, once I'm past the stage of dipping my toes in the water, I'll be on here for a little bit longer. But for now, I just wanted to pop in and paint. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great day, a great Monday, great Labor Day, great, September. And yeah.